This is a Hot Pie Media original.
I'd love to say, are you kidding me? But we've passed that point of, are you kidding me, a long time ago. Florida, and this would be a message from the people, the taxpayers of the state of Texas, and all the new taxpayers in the state of Texas, including our friends from Tesla. But Florida, we're starting to pull away. I mean, we're not running away with the Mussolini Cup points, but we're starting to pull away. And by late this afternoon, we can say, Florida, we're really pulling away. Let's break this down. I know that it doesn't matter, but we can do it ourselves because it might make us feel a little bit better as taxpayers. So let's break this one down with some logic and some reason. Let's start with, I count myself as a leave me alone kind of guy. Really do. I don't think it's a great idea, but I don't really want to spend my taxpayer money to legislate or micromanage you eating cheeseburgers. I would say the same thing about martinis. I would say the same thing about pot. I would say the same thing about psychedelics. I'm even a guy who doesn't believe the government should be involved in marriage. I'll make that argument clearly for you. So we have pulled off this fake message, this fake positioning in this state politically of we're a leave you alone kind of state. We're going to try it again today, and it's going to be completely bogus and BS. So when we talk about the stuff of leave you alone, right? That's really what you want to argue. That's what a lot of people are successfully arguing. Well, hey, listen, I'll get out of my face. Leave me alone. It's none of your business. When your car, can we agree, just to use some simple logic here, when your car gets out of its lane, it's no longer leave everyone else alone, is it? I'm not even going to use my analogy of my dog bites your leg. Wouldn't. He would lick your face and jump up on you, all that stuff. But somebody bites your dog, somebody bites your leg, it's no longer staying in your lane. It's not. Staying in your lane is that 3 cheeseburgers while you sit in your car. Not staying in your lane is that 4th martini when you plow into someone else. Staying in your lane is sitting on your back porch, smoking pot, your dog runs around in circles and bites your leg. Not staying in your lane is your dog runs around the hike and bike trail and bites everyone else. See, that's not staying in your lane. We want to leave each other alone to stay in our lane. That's sensible taxpayer logic. Just throwing it out there as a few comparisons because we're about to get in a really twisted situation. There is no way, and I think we ought to be sick and tired, even the leave me alone people that are out there. COVID is not leave me alone. It's not. I mean, by definition, it's not a leave me alone kind of thing. I guess, unless you want to argue, and if you want to do this, then go sit in a bubble. But the minute you cough, the minute you serve a cocktail, the minute you put in an IV, it's no longer leave me alone. It's not. It's out, completely out of your lane. COVID is, by definition, completely out of your lane. We'd love for it to be stay in your lane, but it's not. It's not. It's completely out of your lane. The soft selling, the pandering, the patting on the back, the going out of your way to pretend it's leave me alone is just absurd. And people need to be called out on it. And you're about to walk yourself into a horrible situation. So, I mean, I don't know what any other way to set it up. And that's coming from a leave me alone kind of taxpayer. COVID can't be leave me alone. Okay? So taxpayers need to get ready for this. I'm not going to say, are you kidding me? Because are you kidding me is long gone. Today at 1 o'clock, taxpayers, people who are happy to be to the other side of the pandemic. We have now gone completely negative to getting optimistic to getting completely negative again. And we were completely negative again and have been completely negative again over the past few months because It's not staying in your lane when you take up ICU units. See, that's not staying in your lane. It's not. It's really out of your lane. And so now we feel like because of vaccines and because, sadly, a lot of people have been sick, we're now getting to the other side again. So there's reason to be optimistic. I'm not going to sit here and play with the science, but COVID by itself is not staying in your lane. Today at 1 p.m., somebody called the Guardians for Medical Choice. You may not care much about them. You may say, what business is it of mine? You better look out, because at 1 o'clock today, the Guardians of Medical Choice are about to create another special session, and this one is going to be, it's not funny anymore. The over-the-top nature of your Texas legislature is not funny anymore. There's nothing funny about this now. They are they're going to pretend to be the leave me alone kind of crowd, and do not let anyone get away with it. You are not a leave me alone kind of person. It is not a leave me alone Texas legislature. It's just the opposite. But today at 1 o'clock, the Guardians of Medical Choice are about to flex their muscle, and you're about to get a special session to stop vax mandates. And they're going to do it and pretend to do it with this fake image of leave me alone. I don't know anybody in Guardians of Medical Choice, but as a leave me alone kind of person, when you cough on me, you're not leaving me alone. See? You're taking up an ICU bed. You're not leaving me alone. It's not the same as being on your porch and smoking pot. It's not. It's just the opposite of that. Guardians of Medical Choice today at 1 o'clock are going to be at the Capitol. They're going to be at the Capitol, and they're going to be surrounded by a bunch of your political heroes. And what they're going to do is they're going to flex their muscle and flex because I'm an anti-vaxxer, because that vote seems to matter a lot, they're going to get a special session. And then we're going to be able to say, once again, are you really about leaving me alone? Because if my business wants to operate, my business wants to hire people, my business wants to have customers, I don't want you coughing in their face. When does the business in the state of Texas get left alone? By the government. You know, the one saying you can't run your business the way you want. You can't. The Guardians of Medical Choice are going to want to say you can't have your employees be vaccinated. All right, well, here we go. Get ready for it, taxpayers. Get ready for another $34,000 a day special session about stuff that is not leave me alone. It's not stay in your lane. Reported by KXAN.com, a handful of Republican state lawmakers are calling for action on anti-vaccine mandate legislation. In other words, you do not have the right to run your business the way you want. We, along with the Guardians of Medical Choice, make your choice. Stay home then. I don't have a choice. Your dad doesn't have a choice. You're not staying in your lane, Guardians of Medical Choice. You are coughing on me. You're the nurse who says, leave me alone, can't really be leave me alone, can he or she? Because, you know, they're putting in an IV. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce in all 50 states, now in several retail outlets as well. So we're going to turn it over to the social media rock chef superstar, and we're going to walk through a few sauces and why you should buy. We've done beet heat, so we're second in line now for the tasting. Don't forget, everyone, go to atxhotsauce.com. So here we go.
All right, so this one is our smoked habanero 5-pepper. We smoke habaneros with ancho, pasilla.
Is that going to hurt?
This one? No,
Yeah.
This one's actually really, really good.
Okay.
This is like your traditional tapatilla, but without the vinegar in it, right? And because of that fermentation process that we've talked about all the time. This one is great on sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Great on hot wings. I think you're going to really like this one too, especially the smoky flavor with the adobe chipotle and the smoked habaneros. We actually smoked the habaneros before we.
Does that go with the cab?
This would not go with the cab. This would go with the great Chenin Blanc, though.
I knew you were gonna. I teed you up with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
That is good. That's good.
Isn't that good? It's just classic take. Well, it's a new take on a classic item. So it's called smoked habanero 5-pepper.
All right, don't forget
One of my
ATX.
favorites.
Don't forget atxhotsauce.com. That's not in your lane. So they're going to do it today, and they're going to matter. That's today at 1 o'clock. The legislators are asking Governor Greg Abbott to add mandates. Now, these aren't vax mandates, because vax mandates, I think you could argue, would be a pretty good way to operate your business. They're going to ask the governor to add mandates to an already busy special session. The group Guardians of Medical Choice is scheduled to hold a news conference at 1 o'clock at the state capitol. Expected speakers include Republican Representative Steve Toth, everyone's favorite, the genius that is Briscoe Cain, Mays Middleton, and Senator Bob Hall. All have filed legislation that would either limit government or employer. That's employer, government or employer action when it comes to vaccine mandates, or allow for exemptions for reasons of conscience. There are now, in a leave me alone state, 19 bills trying to stop, filed by GOP lawmakers trying to stop employers from vax mandates. Okay. Why should we care about this? Because we're almost to the other side. That's why. And these nut jobs, these hickish nut jobs, the people that have been filling up ICU units have been saying, get out of my face, get out of my business, until they suck up every hospital room in this town. They're going to get their way again. Fine. You want to be left alone? Stay on your own porch. You're not leaving me alone when you're coughing on me, Granddad. So if you just sort of take it all in, because we're going to get it, they're going to get what they want today, because they seem to matter a lot. And it is so hypocritical. It is so far removed and so turned upside down that this is supposed to be a leave me alone kind of issue. Again, leave me alone is you stay in your lane. COVID can't be stay in your lane. It just doesn't work that way, does it? We wish it did, but it doesn't work that way. It's not your cheeseburgers inside your car. It's not smoking weed on your porch. It's not your dog biting your face in your own backyard. It's none of those things. I mean, think about this. Think about the special sessions that have happened so far. Think about the legislation in this state now. Think how this state is operating. There was a time. I mean, there are people that remember, and probably in Florida too, which is apparently we are just going to go neck and neck all the way to the finish line between the two states. And that is, how many laws can I make to ass kiss rural Florida, rural Texas? How many can I make? It's not how many different ways can I find to really leave you alone? It's how many different ways can I find to pander to a group of people that make up about 25 or 30% of the population. And in this case, whether you're of the 25% or 55%, if you are not vaccinated, you are a problem. You are not in your lane at all. I mean, is that really that confusing? Do we really not get that? We're not pretending to be scientists anymore. We got it pretty well figured out. We kind of figured out what the problem is. That's taking up an ICU unit when you're not vaccinated. There. That's killing my dad when you're serving a cocktail or putting an IV in. That's not staying in your lane. So now take a look at the state of Texas and what we've done in our race to win the Mussolini Cup. What we're about to do. The goal of this thing is to stop employers from saying, like Southwest Airlines recently, hey, look, it's better for business if you're vaccinated. We need to figure out what's best for our business. We need to figure out what's best for our customers. We need to figure out the best way to hire people is, make sure they don't die. Now, Guardians of Medical Choice is going to come roaring in, and they're going to matter. And they're going to matter a lot. They're going to matter so much, you're going to spend $34,000 a day to get a bunch of yahoos back in Austin to stay at the Capitol to make a bunch of pandering laws. Think of our list of laws so far. We are such a leave me alone state. We now have election mandates from the giant government, the overreaching superpower, all-knowing government at the Capitol, that now has a mandate for the Star-Spangled Banner played at professional sporting events. Mandated. A mandate of teaching patriotism. That's a mandate. A mandate legislating transgendered athletes. We have 4 sessions of that, even though it's not an issue. We have a mandate. These are mandates. Big government, overreaching, get out of my lane kind of mandates. Auditing an election that's already been audited. Now you're going to get a mandate, not a leave you alone. This is a mandate stopping you from trying to run your business the way you see fit, because they're going to mandate that people who don't want to be vaccinated can run around and get as far out of their lane as they want. Including, I assume, including hospital workers, because that's what this is really. I think this might have a hint of, can you imagine the hospital chain that because of the Texas legislature and because of a special session spending $34,000 a day of your money, can you imagine where this is going? So in other words, the hospital chain and the hospital CEO, a hospital, who said, you get vaccinated or you're fired. Unless you got a really good medical reason, of which that's cool, we understand. But we can't run a hospital. We can't be a hospital business. We can't be in public health if you're killing the patients. Imagine them not being able to say, listen, you don't want to be vaccinated, don't be vaccinated, but you can't work here. Imagine the Texas legislature stopping them because of guardians of medical choice today at 1 o'clock with a bunch of yahoos surrounding them. Sorry to call you names, but you forced it. And I don't know why more people don't have the guts to say, it's not okay. What you're advocating is not okay. It's not cool. Go get in your own bubble. Go ahead. But imagine that hospital is not able to say that. How stupid is that? Think about the timing of this. We are apparently scientifically getting to the other side. Aren't we? Right? We're getting back to work. You're going back to business. All that stuff. We're getting to the other side. And now these yahoos are going to come storming in and do this. You're really going to pretend it's a leave me alone kind of thing. $34,000 a day to do this again and again and again and again. All in the name of what? What? Why are we doing this? What is the reason? Can anyone define the reason today? When they do this at 1 o'clock, they're going to make it sound like we need to be left alone. We have every right to be left alone. And you do have a right to be left alone. Stay home. Don't cough on me. That's your right. Why are we really doing this? Does anybody want to break it down? Do we not know why we're really doing this stuff? Is anybody not seeing this? You think the Mussolini Cup doesn't matter? Apparently it matters a lot.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.